A fascinating read in The Atlantic from a guy who's known Spencer since the 8th grade, as he said. Joe?
Hey, Professor, I wanted to just briefly bring up, you had said something that reminded me of an article I had read in the New Yorker back in February that it was talking about an intellectual, I think a German intellectual, I think Stefan Zweig, that fled Nazi Germany, came to New York, and wrote a memoir about the rise of Hitler. And again, we're making absolutely no comparisons here, though. The New Yorker article pulls quotes out of his memoir that are chilling. But this is how it's summed up at the end. The excruciating power of Zweig's memoir lies in the pain of looking back and seeing that there was a small window in which it was possible to act, and then discovering how suddenly and irrevocably that window can be slammed shut. I went back to that February article and looked it up while you were talking, because you basically said the same thing. Why is there a small window to act against these abuses before the door is slammed shut? And why is it so important that vigilance is also focused so it never gets out of hand?
That's a wonderful question, because everything that we know about the history of National Socialism in Germany, and for that matter about authoritarian regime changes in general, suggests that Stefan Zweig was right. There are two reasons why you have to act fast. The first is psychological. If you accept yourself personally that what's happening is completely normal, that's then going to mean that you've lost the opportunity yourself to act. You've started to drift, you've started to go along, you've started to adapt. That means that you're lost. In other words, if you don't follow number 1, don't obey in advance, you can't follow 2 through 20. The second reason it's so important is that if you don't resist in the beginning, resistance becomes hard. Many of us will protest now, but how many of us would protest if it were illegal or if it were dangerous? So the entire essence of what we learned is in your question. You have to act fast, both for psychological and for political reasons. This is one of the most important things that we've learned from history.
The book is On Tyranny, right. Professor Timothy Snyder, history at Yale University. Thanks so much for being here this morning. Appreciate it. And Graeme Wood, thank you as well. We'll be reading your piece in The Atlantic. Coming up next, have conservatives